There's nothing you can tell me now. I got no one I can turn to.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of the No ID Podcast. I have a rising sensation. I'm going to say artist. I can't put them in one category, but I'm going to say artist, right? From Albany, New York. Say something to the people.
Yes, sir, yo. It's King Konye from Albany, New York. I know 518 knows what's good. Yo, shout out to everyone who's part of this. Be here, bro.
Man, thank you. Even coming along, man, I saw you popping up on my Explore page, and then I went and Googled you, brother, and I was like, man, he has a good message. You just had an album come out, right? You just had a new album come out, right?
Yes, sir. People change.
People change, and it was so fire, man. It was really good, and I listened to the whole thing Friday. And you have your sound. I don't like to compare people, but your sound reminds me, like we talked about it earlier. I was like, you remind me a little bit of like Kid Cudi and XXXTentacion, and it was really like, it's not the mumble rap, it's not the trap rap. Honest into you. Where did the inspiration come from? People change.
So what's crazy is like the inspiration from it was literally me actively deciding I was gonna change as a person. So the cover art, the left half of the cover art is my outfit that I was wearing in one of my more popular songs, the music video called Chemistry. And I was, I was dressed up in the lab coat. I was in like a lab at a high school filming a video and everything like that. And that was like a more happy pop vibe that I was going for before. But like after I like sort of got my foot into the door and started to build with my fans, I started to understand the importance of showing like what's going on in my life, not just the positive things, but show them the rawness, the realness of it, because that's what even made the connection in the first place. So People Change was all about deciding like, hey, I'm going to actively like share my life with you, and I'm not just going to be this character anymore. I don't do the whole character stuff. Music is my life. I'm recording music all day. It's like I might as well just be myself with it.
Yeah, man, you gotta strip yourself down and you really are as far as your music. It's got to be like relatable. You feel me? And
Absolutely.
I'm a comedian. I do comedy as well outside this podcast. And Kevin Hart said it best: "Laugh at my pain." And it's really just your experiences, everything. I think a lot of times in anything that we do, some of us get caught up in like trying to be the flashes or the flyers, when really the people really want to listen to what the realest is. And that's what People Change was for me. It was like the realest. So how long have you been doing music?
So, well, I've been like creating songs since I was a little kid. Like since I was like 10 years old, I was just writing on my guitar, just play things. It wasn't very good, but it was like, as a kid, that was just what I loved to do. So there wasn't any level of, oh, is this something that I quote unquote can do, or is this something that I'm good at? I just love to express myself because I was just like music. Me and my brothers just loved to do it. Then it was senior year in high school that I actually started to like record rap music. It was just some like on my iPhone recording just for myself to hear. Then at one point, one of my boys just said, post it. And I posted it. And people, even though they didn't like the quality of the song, they were like, I got such a good response because they said they loved the message. And I was like, oh, well, I was just like kind of speaking. Like, it wasn't even for y'all to hear, but I'm like, if y'all are resonating with it, like, that's fire. And then it evolved into me wanting to make the quality literally the best that I can, get my message out there the best that I can. And that's what we are now, I guess.
I think a lot of times too, man, it's not about like the quality, it's about the content, like the message inside. Like it's the content. When they had the Tupac movie come out a couple of years ago, and he did Brenda's Got a Baby, he was like, I don't want to edit it yet. Keep that shit raw. And it just resonated with me. So that's what got me to your music, man. Like you were just born. How did it, like you I forgot the site. Was it Rap Hood Talk or Hood Talk on Instagram or something? I just saw you up there, like, man, new sensation coming out of Albany, New York. And I said, I gotta check them out. And I Googled you. I found your SoundCloud, Twitter, I found all your social media. It popped up, man, and it was you. Man, I gotta give it to you, brother. You got some good stuff there, man. I'm curious to see what it is for you. What are your plans for the future? Do you plan on like staying with the music, or are you gonna stay with the music and try and segue into something else? Or
Bro, for me, on the realist level, like I full heartedly believe like it may be some level of my purpose to be doing music. So I'm like I'm forever doing music, and I'm gonna branch out. Like I'm gonna branch out doing music with actually something that I was planning now is some type of not and like animated video where it's gonna be like probably 3 chapters. Artists do it. It's all gonna be like almost like anime style art, and I'm gonna make music along with it, like to tell the story. So it'll be like a series of music videos of animation art, and it's like I honestly have so many ideas in my head with metaphors that like represent life that I feel like it can depict what we're all going through in a way that's like hitting different, you know? But at the end of the day, everything is going to be along with music because that's how I express myself. I used to be an introvert, and it's like crazy because now like I'm more outspoken. Like I don't mind. Like I just put myself out there no matter what. I don't mind what anybody thinks. But like at heart, like I just like getting my emotions out there because I feel like that's not always the easiest thing to do when it comes down to just a conversation when you're just around people, you know?
that's true. That's true. That is definitely true. So, who were some of your influences as far as music?
So I got like a crazy top five. Juice WRLD is definitely on there. He is the one of the rawest artists, straight emotions from him to the fans to the audience. Roddy Ricch, I love the way he's able to depict his like aggressive and fast type flows with still being so vulnerable, still representing like being a little more antisocial and introverted. I love A Boogie. Obviously, you know, shout out New York. I gotta shout out New York. And like his ability to be melodic, which almost like has some level of emotion to it, and still have that confidence and that swagger. Like A Boogie can make the toughest song ever, and he could be doing high melodies, and it's like everyone will just be singing it. It'll be playing at a club, it's whatever. And Rod Wave, just because he speaks about the heart and the soul, man.
Yeah, man. I just got on the Rod Wave, though probably last month, and it's actually really good. And that real music is where we at. So I'm gonna go through the songs here, right?
Mhm.
On the new album, People Change. Patience and Purpose. Uh, I always tell people, if you get me in the intro, you're gonna get me all the way to the end of the song. It's about how you start. And that patience and purpose, how did that come about?
Mhm. So this one, I'm glad that you're asking this because this is a different process from any other song that I've made. So usually I just go to the mic, record like line by line, and just make it, figure it out as I go, and then like come out with a name and a concept as I've kind of had the idea. But with patience and purpose, I had heard literally the entire album at a point, and I was waiting to get into the studio. I think it was a week before I was about to get into the studio, and I said, "Oh, I'm gonna make an intro," and I said, I know I want it to represent letting people know that this is a story. I knew I wanted to let people know this is a full story. This isn't just a bunch of songs put together. So I for about a week was just typing random names and concepts into my phone. And I was like, well, what are the things that matter the most to me? I said, patience. That's what I've learned throughout the process of this album. If you're patient and you stick with things, you find a way to make them happen. I don't know why, it just happens like that. And it's all about finding like my purpose. Like, what do I as a human being provide individually? We all provide something individually to have a collective experience. So I said, well, if I'm going to describe my purpose, let me like go like thought by thought, just give them my thought, like uh, chronologically, and of me like figuring out that purpose. So it starts out with that intro and that monologue where I say, what was the line? I said, I don't think like everyone else, do I? And like I didn't even know where it was going when I was doing that line. I just said that. Then I said the next line, and then I was like, I at the time I was just telling myself, oh, this isn't coming together. Then like I got to that little part where I wanted the guitar to start, and I listened back, and this is like it was weird. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I just told the exact story I wanted to tell. It didn't know. It felt almost unintentional, almost as if it was like something bigger that was being made, and I was just like the tool making it, you know?
Like I said, I bumped up. You got me to it. So you had another track up there called Numb.
Mm-hmm.
With Skywalker Da Vinci.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a good bridge way into it. So how did that how, how did that come about? Numb.
So this was like crazy because this song already is like almost out of character for what my usual, I'm gonna say, vibe is. Usually I went from happy to like that being honestly the saddest song that I've ever made and the most honest and emotional. So there was a day I was sitting in the studio and someone else was visiting the studio like punching in or whatever, and what after they finished, one of my homeboys, he's like my brother type, you know, because he's like just always with me. He's like, yo, I'm about to make a song, and I'm like, yo, I'm like out here having a conversation or whatever. I'm like, yo, you go get yourself set up, punch yourself in. And he's like, oh, he's like, but I wanted my bro to be a part of it, and I'm like, I got you in a little bit, but not at this moment. And it's like when he left, I could see he left with this type of disappointment, and like for whatever reason, when I saw him with that disappointment, it hit me, and like it's like the energy in my heart changed. It's like all of me just it like sunk down. All of a sudden, it felt like I felt the guilt of the world because like me already as a musician, I understand you want people to be a part of that. You know, you want your boys to be with you in the studio. You want your boys to be in that booth with you because it's all about the energy. So I started feeling so guilty, and the person in front of me having the conversation while this other dude was walking away, the person goes, "Yo, Konye, this is your vibe completely changed," and I'm like, I don't know why. I was like, I just referred to as having a cloud hit me. And like about an hour later, I finished that conversation. It was probably 5 a.m. in the studio. Everyone was like sleep. People were asleep on the floor. I said, I'm still going to try to record this song. Because I told Skywalker Da Vinci I was going to make something for him the day before. His music was amazing, so I knew I wanted him on the album. So I went into the booth and I was like stressing myself out. I was like just going line by line, trying to pick it apart. I was like, oh, I want to represent the emotion that I'm feeling now, but I had no idea how I was about to do that. But it was like I said, yo, boys, like, come on in and listen. I think it was the next day because, like, we ended up leaving at like 8, 9 in the morning. I said, yo, listen to what I got. I don't know how I'm feeling about this. And it's like I heard it back, and it was the first time I heard that song too. Like, I felt all those emotions that I was trying to put into the music that I thought I wasn't putting in. I'm like, yo, like it really felt like magic. It felt like magic. I sent it to Skywalker Da Vinci that same weekend. Like he sent his part back. He says, bro, like you're talented. He says, I got you. He sent his part back. It was literally almost as if it was a car conversation talking about depression with your friend. Like it was so honest. He had like this uplifting vibe, but he was also feeling it with me. Then it goes back out at the end with me like just explaining those emotions. And I feel like it was so raw, so real.
That whole album is so raw and so real. And I'm not blowing smoke. It's, you know, you're like a once in a lifetime. So with the music, man, you know, like the 6 9s and the little this, the little that. You get tired of, like I said, it's real. Not being able to relate to. I don't know what it feels like to walk into the club with 50 bands and make it rain. Nor will I ever do that because I want to say no. I don't have $50,000 sitting around. I get tired of seeing all the big jewelry, the cars, and I watch them like, man, I can't even watch it. There's so many guns in here, and I just gotta give it to you, bro. I really do. And I just want to continue seeing you prosper and grow with your music and doing everything. Now, question: are you independent or are you signed or?
Okay, so I'm an independent artist, but I'm signed to a distributor. They're the ones who put my music out on platforms, but like as in I'm not signed to a manager, I'm not signed to a label. I'm completely independent on the creative side, marketing side, all of that.
Um, they're good. Yeah, there's so many ways. So, where can people find you at if they're looking for you, like on Instagram, social media, anything like that?
Mhm. So They can find me. Instagram is King Konye. Twitter is King Konye. Um, Facebook we have the same, and we got music on all platforms, even like TikTok now. And I think my distributor just started putting songs out on Snapchat. I know Snapchat has a new feature where you could play the music and like send it as a snap or whatever. So we're out everywhere.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna show this right here. You guys, you see this right here? Make sure you get it. You understand me? This is well too, but make sure it came out Friday, this past Friday. People Change, dopest album I've ever heard. So I usually ask this just to a lot of people before they get all because I'm wrap it up a little bit. Um,
Mm.
top five comedians, dead or alive, who was starting
You said top five?
top five.
You top five off the album?
Yeah,
Oh, oh, yo, you put me on the spot with this. That's crazy. So I gotta put Numb on there on the top five because it's such a strong vibe, stands by its own. Clip My Wings. That story, all these stories are real, but the way that that story came about, like that's like you could listen to it and follow and know exactly who I was. So, Clip My Wings is also on there. Everybody's Waiting because that I know that song's really low on the album or really far down on the album. It's before the last song. It's a guitar ballad song, but that song represents literally what was on in my head when I said, "Hey, I'm gonna start trying to actively show this side as a person, and I'm scared to change." So everybody's waiting. It's talking about everybody waiting for me to make this change or whatever. Um, Also, I have to throw the intro in there just because it's so artistic and represents me as a person. And the fifth one has to be Broken Heart. Because Broken Heart, I really like that song. I don't know, just out of nowhere, I felt all these different feelings of sadness and anger through betrayal, and it all just turned into passion at the end of the day.
gotcha. You have any advice for anybody up and coming in the industry right now? Like they're looking to break into the entertainment industry. You have any advice?
I absolutely do. My biggest piece of advice is that you if you're being honest with yourself and you're really expressing real emotions, people don't just relate off your stories, they relate off the emotion that you're giving them. And when you create, you never create to make someone like your music. You never want to make someone like your music. You never want to make someone get into you. There are people who relate to your story. You create for yourself and you're creating for them. Everything has to be natural. We are working in an industry where it's so like not even just the entertainment industry, but music specifically, it almost has this spiritual, soulful level to it. Music is powerful in the way that it affects people, so everything's got to be as real and natural as possible.
Damn, that's facts. I'm gonna agree with you on that one, brother. If you guys get a chance, make sure you follow King Kanye on all social media platforms. Stream the album. People Change. You can click the link in my bio. It gets you to any access that you need to me. I swear you won't be disappointed. Brother, for being a part of this interview and this experience has really been dope, man. I really appreciate you, brother.
Thank you for inviting me, man. I appreciate you giving me a place to share the story.
Thank you, man. We standing off.
Yes, sir.
Darkest, nigga, I've been feeling hard. This, you know what the difference is.